Hello, hello, hello. Right, it's conference season, the most exciting season of them all. Apart from Christmas. Yeah, presents and that. Okay, so last week we had the Labour Party conference, which I thought they did pretty well. You know, I mean, it was good to see Ed Balls taking a strident line on tuition fees. You know, he called people. He said there are people who think £9,000 a year is just small change. You know, so he railed against them on behalf of those people who think £6,000 a year is just small change. Ed Miliband, a very good speech from Ed Miliband. He told us about his two young sons, whom he called the next generation of Milibands. You know, he said he hopes that they're going to become doctors, so that when one of them stabs the other one in the back, presumably he can sew him back up a bit. You know, good speech, very good speech. It was about wealth creators versus asset strippers, producers versus predators, predators versus aliens, Mario versus Sonic, Run DMC versus Aerosmith. All good stuff. I'd say his stock really rose after that. You know, no longer do I think that he looks like a startled broom peering up from the bottom of a haunted well. No. Now I think he looks like an albino pepperami in a wind tunnel. There's progress. This week, of course, we had Theresa May, just yesterday, told an appalling story about an evil man, an evil dealer in illicit substances, who we couldn't deport because he owned a cat. You know, today the Justice Department said that wasn't true, and in fact, not that I knew it, in fact, Gargamel is fictional. Who knew? But today we had the highlight of the conference season. We had David Cameron's speech. It was, well, I just thought I'd read some of it to you because it was just so impressive. He said these words. It's a worrying time in which we should have unbridled optimism. Now is an anxious time that fills me with great hope. Have confidence and start spending, but whatever you do, don't spend anything. Our economy is growing under Conservative governance, except in those figures which shows it stagnating under Labour. This is a can-do country, a broken country. Prices and bills keep going up. But let's not get bogged down in pessimism. You know, last year we froze council tax. This year we will freeze the elderly, and next year we will do it again. We are in a debt crisis, and the only way out of a debt crisis is to lend more to the banks who are overlending to create the debt crisis. We are not going to be sucked into a Eurozone bailout. Except of Greece, and of Portugal, Italy, Spain, and should it come to it, Germany, France, Poland, Romania, Moldova, and Israel. Null point. This is a can-do country which must remember its limits. I love our countryside, which is why we must build high-speed rail links across it now. Who's going to lift the poorest up? Who's going to get our young people back to work? Not Labour. And not us. Possibly Plaid Cymru. Are they any good? Our teachers, our doctors, our nurses are the best in the world, which is why we must change them immediately. We have capped the number of non-EU immigrants who can come to this country, and we mustn't keep out those with talent. Everyone should have a home of their own, a decent home, a home with a front door and a room for children to play. A Wendy house, essentially, but bigger, you know, and British, a big British Wendy house. You know, we support the age-old Britain, the traditional Britain of gay marriage. We're going to give neighbourhoods the right to take over parks. We're going to give parks the right to take over pubs. We're going to give pubs the right to take over schools. And we're going to give schools the right to take over other pubs. We're going to work out the details later. It's going to be great, though. You know, our children Our children are our greatest resource. And to keep this up, we must stop as many as we can going to university. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. It's not hard, but it might be difficult. It isn't tough, but it is certainly going to be tough. We need to be bigger, not wider, rounder, not older, more ethereal, not juicier. Thank you, Britain. Goodbye.